When it comes to stars, many people already now are intuitively realizing that somehow they connect to trees. Stars that you see, they're fixed. In themselves, they're akin to trees because trees can't walk around. Trees are, in fact, stars. There is a notation in many scientific works that not only the same substance that surrounds trees and surrounds plants, but also surrounds stars. Like the most adjacent film to the star is this gelatinous polymer called cellulose. This work is known. It's facts. Most importantly, though, what we're honing in on today is the use of this polymer to create film stock. Now that the film stock is actually made of the same film that the film that stars is next to the stars. Aren't these kind of like the stars? The as below stars? All of the occult art of how the dimension is really set up is actually playing out in Hollywood completely. First of all, we are stars, we are trees, we have roots. The next film is actually celluloid. That's why I said also the silicas and the silicates, which is what computers are made out of. All this we have a very strong relationship with on the dimension, in the realm. So not only is it on the periodic table, not only is it in the bond of the chemistry, it's also something we even act out and do every single day. That's what the polymer is, to bond something. And this is the study in the art of the anatomy, which is the study of the stars, which is the study of us. Now we realize exactly how the programming is taking place, because on this film strip, which is made out of the same film that is actually covering the outside of your consciousness as a star, what is projected through this film, which actually blocks out a specific UV range. This is why sunglasses came into existence via Hollywood. The sunglass or the celluloid can actually block out certain wavelengths. This film is actually originally created and was always created using the cellulose film. I have to ask you then, what is real? What is real? Because there's another word called real, which is R-E-E-L, and that's where they wrap the film. So this is how this real world is created. So they take this celluloid, which is symbolic again, the star is already embedded in there, in the negative. And then this celluloid framework is put around the star, just how it's depicted as above. So when the projector comes through, it's able to spray it right into the person's mind's eye. So from here, it's put onto the real, because the real is symbolic to the planet on this flat disk of data, which is really running in their consciousness. This is not a place. This is something you're existing in because you choose to. It's in a construct in your consciousness. As you try to move to the center of the spindle, you keep running into more people who are insisting that they've gone all the way. And this actual phenomenon actually strengthens as you get to the center, as if it's pushing you back out. But if you happen to make it to the elevator, which is what's known as fourth dimension, you can actually get into other spaces to where you actually see that there is time lags and different variations that's happening on the spindle, but truly as above, so below, that there is a repetitive system that is in play that is based on the memories and the energies of this stack. That's why it's always these kind of occult symbols like the pentagram or the hexagram, which you recognize in many things, because it is symbolic again to a disk, which is the planet, right? Phi. Phi in every level, because this continuous twist that's happening with this celluloid strip, which also for music becomes a magnetic strip, is just coiled over and over and over. So what happens is when that's playing into your consciousness, it's like a worm. It creates this long film strip of characters inside of your consciousness. You saw Snow White and I saw Snow White. So technically, Snow White is in there, the disc. And when that whole thing played out, there was a character that through the Welfenschankrieg, through William Wundt, through John Dewey, and through the actual school systems embedding in these characters through the nursery rhyme, the Grimm brothers, who they enlisted to make bring several words into the English from the German. So when they enlisted all of them to create this curriculum that we were put under through the schooling systems, it set up all of these characters inside that would be the triggers to the characters that would be assigned to you through the movies that you would gravitate to through astronomy. These are the as below stars. And so when you take on that character, which you do subconsciously, the film strip the film or the disconnect starts to run, and each person assumes a character. Definitely you can see how this is happening more and more as people become embedded into the framework. So let's keep going. So now there's a literal gap then. Is creating these forms of disconnect, right? This is symbolic. Celluloid film, just like these sunglasses, the film between you and you, the real you. The school system, we know the system has been erected to actually not allow you to learn whatever you came in there to learn. Because even if they did go to school, they didn't learn what they were actually going to be taught because of this system that was put in place. In your school then, because of the communicative component is one of confusion, as you move through life, you move through with this dualism and you remain trapped in that stasis and your current is locked up. But see, in their schools, and they kind of jokingly pun, they do. Instead of thinking, they do. They have their school. You know, it's all governed from Yale. It's just important to realize that you're in a system that they're very, very serious about keeping locked down and keeping protected. And you can easily shut it down and nullify it by hacking back into your consciousness and uploading yourself back into the throne and getting the hell out of here. Meaning that get out of this vibration, get out of this resonance of conflict, get out of this feeling of poverty, being robbed, and know that all this is connected to your energy and is connected to something that you're doing. So you have complete power and control. You've been sent to a school, and that's why you didn't like it so much, that didn't teach you how to really function around others. So even in the conscious community, this is why there's so many conflicts, because it doesn't stop. It goes wherever you go unless you choose to be mindful about not spreading that virus. So I wanted to also mention that now those arts that train you about the laws of light, now they teach that in their schools. You see what I mean? This is what we're dealing with as the vault of the great. Gaia is being open. Her womb is open as she's revealing her secrets, but not willingly. They knew phonetics, Phoenicians. There was a language introduced after the ancient tongue. It connects to the English language. They were seafarers. They sold everybody out. As we go through this process of realizing, can we handle these powers and these degrees? Are we going to tap into free energy though, which is love?